Yes, we are live. Guess what? I forgot to do this morning. I forgot to publish my pre announcement for today's broadcast, um, which has only happened once or twice before. Usually at 9:30 in the morning, I say to myself, Paco, start writing a little introduction to the show so that people get excited about the fact that we're going live. And today, for the life of me, I wrote the text for the pre show announcement and then I totally forgot to publish it. So I am taking a little bit of extra time this morning, making sure that we get people to realize that we are live as we always are at 10:30 in the morning here on Facebook. And I'm starting to see that some of you are showing up, so we might as well roll our usual introduction, but not the whole thing. Let's see. Let's start here. Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravos Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Yes, and here we are, and apologies are due. Vicky, I am so sorry. I forgot to publish my pre show announcement. Albert, same thing. Um, who else? Karen. I'm sorry about that. Here we are. Um, yes, look who's here. It's Larcito. Hi, Larcito. You always make me smile when I see you. And just because you're here, I'm wearing the t shirt that you gifted me. So there. Okay, enough of getting personal. Here we are again. Another one. I am so sorry. I totally spaced out this morning in doing the pre show announcement, but I'm happy to see you. I'm happy that you found me. Here is my neurofeedback god, Stan Wagner. Well, maybe not a god, but my dear friend, community partner, and neurofeedback service provider friend, Stan Wagner. It's great to see you, and I look forward to my neurofeedback session for this coming Saturday. I need it. But that's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to discuss today's news, and I found a bunch of things that you might find interesting. Um, Let me clear my throat. Don't catch a chest cold in the wintertime. Pam. And another one. Oh gosh, you make me feel okay. Now I understand. I will not forget again. Yes, I'm here and you are here, and that is all that matters. It wasn't there a song that went like that from the Beatles? Ah, I'm drifting. Let's not let that happen. Let's take a look at the news. We have interesting things going on. For starters, 80 Mexican senators have approved the new tax for cruise ship passengers. Starting on January 1st, every cruise ship passenger traveling to Mexico will have to pay an additional 42 US dollars in taxes. This is aside from the local tourism tax that the municipality of Puerto Vallarta is hoping to charge every international tourist arriving in Puerto Vallarta and is currently in discussion within the state of Jalisco's government. Needless to say, local tourism service providers did not waste any time and gathered at the maritime terminal to protest against the increase, arguing that the economy of those that rely on tourists locally is at stake and will be hurt by this new tax. It is worth remembering that an average 1 week cruise through the Mexican Riviera will set passengers back between $652 and $1,580 per person, depending on the cruise ship, on the cruise line, the ship, and the room type. In addition, it is said that the average cruise passenger spends between $80 and $90 per day. So it's an additional increase in cost of $42 a deal breaker for cruise passengers. You tell me. You tell me what you think. We'll be looking at your comments in a little while. And here are other good news. Nationally, the National Minimum Wage Commission, or CONASAMI, stated that 12% that a 12% increase in minimum wage will take place in 2025. This was announced by Presidenta Sheinbaum during her morning press conference today. The increase means that monthly minimum wage in Mexico will go from 7,470 pesos per month to 8,364 pesos per month, or roughly 412 US dollars per month. That is just some food for thought for you guys to be mindful of what minimum wage is in Mexico and how far it can take you. Not very far, as you can see. Let's now take a quick look at the weather before we continue with other news. The sun god is trying to hide behind those clouds because he owes me money, says the snarky weatherman. It is 24 degrees outside right now. Humidity is at 68%. And our weather forecast indicates that that today will be a humid day with partly cloudy skies throughout the day, a high of 28 and a low of 18. Then tomorrow, Thursday, will be a humid day with clear skies throughout the day, a high of 29 and a low of 17. And Friday, another humid day with overcast skies plus some patches of sun shining through, a high of 27 and a low of 18. And that takes us directly into our second block of news before we get started. Now, I'm going to wait to make, I will make a curious announcement in a little while. But first, let's take a look at the news. Banderas News has announced details of the upcoming Christmas Caravan by Coca-Cola, which will circulate through the city on Friday the 13th, starting at 6:30 p.m. Check out all the pertinent information in this article by Banderas News, particularly the fact that the caravan will not, I repeat, will not circulate through the Malecón or Emiliano Zapata, where the tourists are and where these kinds of things are usually channeled through. It will actually focus on Fluvial and surrounding areas. Then I received this lovely, lovely, lovely note from our friends at Monson Brewing, and I'm going to read it verbatim because it's easier to do this. If you have a moment on air, we'd love if you could tell your audience about our annual toy drive. Since we opened in 2017, we've set up our little Christmas tree to benefit the families of Familias de la Esperanza. As a thank you from Monson, we give a free beer to people who donate. It's super easy. Simply bring in any new toy for kids of all ages, baby to teens, worth at least 100 pesos, and we'll give you a free 322 milliliter beer of your choice. It's the easiest and tastiest way to get some holiday warm fuzzies. Every year, we try to donate even more than the year before, so this is a fantastic opportunity to support a great cause and try our beer. The toy drive is now through the 24th of December, and we hope to see lots of friendly people bringing toys to donate. If you are able to tell your audience about this, we would greatly appreciate it, but also understand you are busy. Oh, please. Of course, I'm never busy for you, Miranda. It's always a pleasure to promote the things that you guys are doing. I hope you are very successful with your toy drive. Also, I have an announcement from Christ Church by the Sea. They have announced their second concert from their second Sunday concert series. This time around, they will present the story of Christmas on December 8th at 4 p.m. The presentation will be the story of Christmas in word and music with a service featuring lessons and carols by instrumentalists and the parish choir. Again, this will happen on Sunday, December 8th at 4 p.m. Today is the spotlight, and I'm so very excited. We have four people joining us on the spotlight, plus an additional giveaway that was kindly donated by Vagabundas Versalles. So it will be a really, really fun show. As you know, we've been announcing that registration for January and February interviews is now available at bit.ly / the Spotlight PV. And I'm happy to report that we've started getting some takers. Todd is going to talk about some of his cord cutting services. And this will happen on the Spotlight on January 8th. And Bert St. Cyr, I hope I am pronouncing that properly, of the San Marais Healthcare Group will join us on February 5th to talk about some of the special services that this healthcare group is offering for French-speaking locals. How exciting that we're getting more and more interviews. And before we wrap up the events, we get a little personal with a final reminder for tomorrow's Mexican December presentation, where we will unpack everything that goes on in traditional Mexico's holiday month, which has already started with the Guadalupe processions and actually ends all the way in February with Dia de la Candelaria. We'll explain all these series of events and traditions tomorrow afternoon at the Joint. I understand that tickets are selling well, so I would recommend getting your tickets ahead of time or getting there early if you're planning to attend. Finally, well, two finalies. Finally, number one, you will appreciate this, or maybe not. Something very strange happened to me this morning that never happened to me before. Facebook is no longer promoting my channel, and I need to look into this because apparently Facebook or someone took offense at a recent post I posted with a poll on whether you enjoyed live music on restaurants or not. That may have ruffled some feathers. So Facebook told me, if you want to be in our good graces, you must delete the post. So I deleted the post. You know, it is what it is. We are guests on Facebook. So if that is what the company decides to do, what am I to say? And last but not least, I had told you that Luna has her own blankie. She has two. She has one on top of the bed, and she has one on her perch right next to me down here. I made them both, but somehow Luna has discovered my blankie, the one that I'm using to wrap myself up at night this time of year. And Luna has decided, nah, this is also going to be acquired by me moving forward. So it's never ending crocheting here at Casa Chaos. What can I say? Instead of saying more, let's take a look at what you have to say this chilly morning. Do 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 do. Aha. Let's see. We have hellos and good mornings, and I found you. I love it. Lesson learned. Do, 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 do. Sherry also found us. Yay. This has been a very romper room start to the show so far. You know, I was in romper room when I was a kid, and I have photos to prove it stashed away in my study. I have to look for those. Let's see. Maria is coming to tomorrow's Christmas lecture. Yay! There will be audience participation, so I'm excited about that. What tourist would not pay $42 It is no impact at all to a local economy. I kind of tend to side with you, and I think that a lot of people are overreacting. But again, I don't fit in that category, so we'll see. Sherry throws in a traveler tourist might prefer spending that extra tax money in the stores where the local store owners could benefit rather than on a tax. That is fair. I must remind you that we are talking about two different taxes. One is a federal tax that has already been approved that applies only to cruise ship passengers, and a second local municipal tax that is currently in discussion at the Senate for our state that would affect every international tourist visiting uh, Puerto Vallarta. And from what I've read, it is a yearly amount that you pay, but nothing is set in stone just yet. But if both taxes go into effect, that's then double, uh, as in $80. Well, Vicky, let's not get all excited just yet. No specific amount has been established for the local tourism tax. So we don't know for a fact how much that is going to be if it becomes a reality, nor do we know if it will be waived once this new federal tax has been approved. Um, Too many taxes on tourists will adversely affect Jalisco. That's why Acapulco lost its luster for tourists, my opinion only. Thank you very much for sharing that. Salam says, are the permanent residents affected by the new tax when we go back and forth to the US? I don't know the answer to that question, Salam. Again, I only know that what they are proposing is a tax that is paid annually. So, how this tax is going to be collected and how are you going to prove when you're entering several times a year that you've already paid that tax for a given year is a mystery to me. And I am sure that is part of what they are figuring out right now. I will be so very happy to keep you posted on this because it is an important issue. And that is correct, Muffin. This Coca-Cola Caravan, whatever it is going to be passing right by your house. Yay! I've never been to one, and I honestly don't remember them coming to Puerto Vallarta, but I'm sure they have. I just don't pay much attention to that kind of stuff. Let's see. Ha ha! I was thinking the same thing. Party at Logan Miller's. Let's make it happen. And Sherry says, I hope you have a big balcony. Yeah, let's all crash Muffin's house. Let's see. Maria says, gracias for spreading the word about Christchurch's concert series. We're looking forward to seeing everyone. Well, thank you for sending the information, Maria. And thank you for creating a Facebook event for it. Again, we are big preachers on Facebook events here because when you only post things in your own Facebook page, of course, it may be visible to those people that already like you. But when you post something as a Facebook event, you open your event to the possibility of being found by many others that are simply looking for things to do and may not even know that you exist. And I'm not talking you specifically, Maria, but any of us in general. You can ask for a review of Facebook decisions. I am sure I can. Again, this just happened this morning, so I'm not going to worry too much about it, nor am I going to lose sleep over the fact. Let's say. Let's see. Replying to the tourist tax, just interested in transparency process that will benefit all infrastructure projects and support programs for all levels of local residents in the PV metropolitan areas first, then necessary other projects, programs throughout Jalisco. What's feedback from? Okay, I read that and I think I get it. Let me talk a little bit about transparency. Transparency is this mythical instance that you don't see very frequently. whether it's federal projects or whether it's even local fundraisers. For example, you don't ever see a Facebook post that says, or you seldom see a Facebook post that says, um, the local shelter for whatever had this great event and we were able to raise this much money and this is exactly how it is going to be spent. Thank you very much. It's a nice way to close a circle. And you'd think that more agencies would take pride in promoting what they do with their money. But many agencies either don't have that vision or maybe they don't have the manpower to count the money. I don't know. But again, transparency is an important part of the issue. I'm very glad that you bring this up to the table, Spencer. I am all for transparency, and I certainly hope that more agencies will continue to increase their transparency moving forward. And of course, here at Coffee and Headlines, we're certainly not afraid to ask about transparency when it becomes an issue. Paco, I am so proud and happy for you. Things are happening now, and you are busy, busy, busy. Such a great feeling. I remember when we had the conversation before this all started. Thank you for everything you do for us. Michael, that is the sweetest thing to say to me. I am very excited in general for all the projects, and I am very excited about the spotlight because, again, it's starting to buzz. And of course, as a result of that, we're starting to invest in technology and features that allow us to better promote the spotlight. You may have spotted, no pun intended, a couple of vertical stories, reels, Facebook reels that I published this week with excerpts from past interviews. We are going to continue doing that. And what I mean by that is not only are we happy to invite people to promote what you're doing for free, but we're also happy to throw in any kind of extra promotion effort we can to create connections for everyone. Boom, boom, boom. Dan throws in his 2 cents. I would think it would have an effect on the Atlantic side of Mexico, as there are all kinds of Caribbean countries who don't charge that high or a tax. Cruise lines can easily switch where they stop in the Atlantic, but that would be more difficult here on the Pacific coast. Again, we'll have to see what happens. I do think that there is no such thing as a good idea that stays in the mind of the originator and is not even studied or researched or even yet practiced. If they would put out this tax, if they see it doesn't work, they will take it back, hopefully, and they will say, well, that didn't work. And that's just the way it is. Michal throws her 2 cents on transparency. Transparency is in how taxes are used is an illusion. In most countries, government is elected by the people for better or worse, and they generally make the call on behalf of the people, and there's an eye roll attached. I hear you, Michal, but that doesn't stop us from asking questions. And I think it's only fair that we are allowed to make questions, even when the questions may be somewhat uncomfortable to receive or to answer. So I had to make such a question from a local agency this morning. It felt a little uncomfortable, but I felt good making the question, and hopefully the agency that I reached out to will see it as such. And, if you have nothing to hide, then what's the big deal? Boom, boom, boom. Michael says, I have only seen in all years here that Becca's Breakfast has only been the one so far to post results. Yes, Michael, but I've been paying attention recently to the things that are being posted by the International Friendship Club. And sometimes it's about money. Sometimes it's also about accomplishments. Remember the cleft palate clinics that you so proudly sponsor. They did reach out to the public and they did say, thanks to your contributions, we were able to perform these many cleft palate procedures. So it's that kind of feel-good, happy ending stuff that I think makes a big difference between deciding on the agencies that we choose to support and those that we choose to ignore. But again, that's just my 2 cents, just as some of you have shared your 2 cents as well. And with that said, I think this is a good point to stop today's broadcast. I am going to do final touches to the preparations for the spotlight this afternoon. Thank you so much for your opinions. They are extremely valuable. Thank you so much for being concerned about the well being of these monies, how they're spent, how they're distributing, about the well being of these agencies, and about gently encouraging agencies to be more forthcoming with that kind of information. I think it goes a long way. And of course, all your recommendations, all your thumbs up mean the world to us. Thank you so much for supporting Coffee and Headlines and all of our projects. I will see you live this afternoon and maybe in person if you choose to stop by at the joint at 4 o'clock. And if not, I will see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day.